Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM22 Career Mode Episode 78. We are on to national championships, beginning with the individual time trials. First up for us is Azumi, who is a contender. Despite not really being a very good time trialist, he is a contender for the best in a crowded Japanese field that just doesn't have strong time trialists. So it does give us a pretty decent shot. You start with this downhill section, but we've got a pretty hefty climb coming up, and with a 76 or 77 mountain rating today, Azumi could, gain some additional time through there. We've got two time checks. We'll see where we're at the end of this one. And with the number 11, the favorite is just behind us. That is Yano, but you could see that Yano is a 74 time trialist as well, but only a 61 mountain rating for him. So I'd say that's definitely somebody that we can beat, and I think we can push even harder through here. The descent throws things off, but there's another descent. So with two descents and one climb and then a few hills along the way, we can afford to push a little harder through here. Ahead of us, Matsuyama, 70 mountain, 73 time trial. He could do okay. Kurosawa is a 74 mountain and a 70 time trial. And Matsushita, and I'd say by here, it's your top five guys, should be your favorites. Look at that, and I definitely like our chances. Matsushita was 55 seconds down at the first time check. Kurosawa was 40 seconds down. Matsuyama was 36, and Azumi crosses the line 9 seconds off the best time. Let's see who it is that is at the top. Koyama is the only one ahead of us, and otherwise we have a good advantage, but Yano, with his 74 time trial, does go top, so we are behind that one, and that includes that climb. But you can see Azumi can probably push a lot harder through the climbs to come. Good downhill guy too, so he probably did fairly well through that section. And you can see we are now starting to kind of play into a deficit, but has to put in that time. Has Yano gone too deep? Because he is not a good climber, so how in the world has he managed that sort of time? But Koyama, where's Koyama at? Has Koyama finished the second time check? No, so yes, okay, he's on top. 26 seconds ahead of Mirai. That's definitely the time to beat right now that we're going to watch out for as we approach it, and I think he's probably just reached it. We have one hill left and a slight undulation along the way, and we're now just 3 seconds behind Koyama. 3 seconds back. We were 9 seconds back earlier, so we are trending in the right direction when it comes to the comparison against Koyama, but Yano still top by 30 seconds. It looks like we might be riding for a podium, but possibly not a win as we go through there. Last descent, and that 81 is looking just fine to get us. In fact, I think we might be able to squeeze an 82 towards the finish line. This is an absolutely beautiful course, by the way. And yes, there is some undulation as we start to ride uphill, but it's only 2%. It's not bad. 83 from here, pushing harder, trying to squeeze out those seconds. 30-second deficit to 1, but only a couple second deficit to Koyama. I think we might be able to get him. And there's the finish line. 1 second. 1 second behind Koyama. Are you kidding me? And I didn't push. You didn't see the finish line. It's right around the corner. It's third. No real difference between second and third, right? Podium's a podium. Not winning. We could have had that 1 second there towards the end, though, had I realized that we were 100 meters away. Finish line was nowhere near in sight. And I was still glancing at times at Yano, who had just gone top. So Yano does take the win. He was a favorite. He clearly had to have had a +5 to have managed the time he had despite not being a climber. We did have a decent race day condition, but it was not to be. This should be a very fun experiment. We have France now and a 49K time trial. I believe that's like 32 miles solo against the clock with plenty of undulation along the way. This is a time trial, folks. This is an excellent time trial here. I'm going to try a 76 initially. This is going to be some work. Now, Martinez is not even in the top 10 favorites, but of course he is a very good climber, so he's going to make up time on the climbs. Wow, that hurt, but that was the biggest climb of the day. And there is descending that's going to help us make up some ground. Time trial today with +2. He's got a 74. and an 81 stamina, it's going to give him a chance at cracking the top 10. But you got to believe that over 49 kilometers, it's really, really going to come down to your time trial rating more than anything else, much more so than the good mountain rating that Martinez has. And you can see that we are well below where we could or should be, and are already a minute down through the biggest climbing section and well down on energy. Does not look good for Martinez, but how much you want to bet that 50 riders cracked before the finish line by pushing too hard too early? And we could be making up a lot of ground as we reach towards the finish line. There's still a good 16 riders after me. Like I said, we are nowhere near the favorites on this race. Little more descending in the later stages, the later kilometers. In fact, we've got 2-3 good downhill sections still to go, and realistically only one lengthy uphill section remaining. So can Martinez make up the ground, or has he gone too deep? And like I said, if he's gone too deep, imagine how many other riders have, because we were only 27th at that first time check. Here's that last climb. Quick and easy like. There's that second time check. We move up 15 spots, but we still lose a big chunk of time. Minute 55 down. Wow. Now, a lot of descending the rest of the way, but Martinez does not have much left in the tank with 14 kilometers still to go. I'm fairly certain he's going to run out of energy well before the finish, even though from here to the finish line is mostly gentle downhill slopes. It's not going to be enough. We're going to have to back off and hope that it's cruise time, and he's not very good downhill. 73 rating is not terrible. And look at that, we're catching up to Russo at least, but we're about to run out of energy now. 11th, but again, losing a big chunk of time. 2:47 down. And looking at that, that's already probably outside of top 10 territory. But as we descend here, we are not dipping into that last ounce of energy, but we're going to hit the flat here with 3K to go, and that's going to use up what is left gradually. 1.6. He's almost made it. 1K. Final corner, 500 meters is when he runs out. That's not bad on what we did there, but that's still only 21st. 356 down. Wow. Now that's your 74 time trial rating getting completely exposed on that one, because we managed that one pretty dang well, and he's nowhere near the time, and there's still 12 guys to go. Right now it's Benjamin Thomas. I would imagine one of these favorites left is going to claim the French jersey this year. I said Thomas. I should know better. He's French. Thomas. Ben Thomas takes the win by a near minute and a half. Race favorite Remy Cavagna, minute 23 behind and just seconds. Nance Peters was 3 seconds away from second and misses the podium entirely. From the rolling hills of France to the flat as a pancake Orslev in Denmark, Bach. This is better terrain for him. Obviously, he's not a climber, so flat as a pancake is a good thing, and he is a decent time trialist, one of our, if not our best, but still, even then, he's a 77, even with a, 0 race day condition, but with a +1 on it. His stamina and resistance are fine, but I don't know how good of a time he can put in here, but I would hope good enough for a top 10. At a 76, we're clearly going a little bit deeper than we can afford to go for very long, so we'll back off just a little bit. I know 74 should just about do it. As we go through the first time check in third place, just 5 seconds down. That's the kind of time that can help you keep up. At 1:11 for numbers, we got a 11 guys after us still to go. We'll keep an eye on that time, which is now 4th best. And there's still going to be a couple more guys to cross that first sector, I'd say, by the time we get through Sector 2 ourselves. The 75 seems to be holding steady on the deficit side of things, and now we're just 7 seconds down in 3rd place, but now 6th and 15 at that first time check. So kind of checking back in the Kierkegaard has just the tiniest advantage, and Holgaard comes in a couple seconds down. Kort Nielsen 7. Skjelmose coming in We're down to 9th place at the first time check. We're going to roll 74 for just a moment just to help make sure we do get to the finish line. But we are hanging on to 7th at 26 seconds behind. So not bad through that second time check, but it looks like, in fact, we're down to 11th at the first time check. So it's just on the edge of a top 10 finish for now as we come up on the final time check in 3rd place. Once again, 15 seconds down, which is similar to where we were for the first time check. But again, we're seeing this one fall further behind. Volgren has the best time at the finish line, 45:42, 1.5K, and into that final kilometer, pushing for the line. 3rd, which has been consistent. We've been 3rd at the time that we crossed. Helmos and Volgren ahead of us. Bach, Kierkegaard goes top. We knew that was going to happen, but we did finish 3 seconds ahead of Somer, and I think Somer had been ahead of us in the earlier checks, so that should boost us up 1 spot, which would be top 10 if you look at those first 2 checks. Now 5th overall. I don't think we're going to be hanging on for a top 5, but I'm hopeful of hanging on for a top 10. Jorgensen goes 2nd best. Kierkegaard still on top. Holgaard is 2nd. Bach now 7th. Now 8th. Kort Nielsen goes into the last podium spot in 27 seconds down. Now 9th. This is number 21. There's just a couple guys to go. 10. Here's Asgreen. No, we're going to miss the top 10. Only just 11th. We're going to be 12th. Yep. That is a 12th place finish for Jan Bach. So he just misses the top 10. He was 2 seconds out of 11th, but he was about 12 seconds down from a top 10 position, so just missing out. 0 race day condition bonus is never enough. Krantz has already made a big name for himself winning the Giro this year, but if he's ever going to have a chance at winning the Tour, he's going to have to perform in the time trial. Today's a big test for that, and with a +4 race day condition draw, which is a +4 because his expected was 0. 79 time trial, huge boost to that. I actually kind of like that we have a looping track here where you're taking a few laps around and getting to see the other performers, even though, yeah, we might have ghosted somebody a moment ago. I like it because you really get to compare your pace with other riders. And that reference point, that chase is a nice one. But already noted, if he's going to perform on a larger scale, if he's going to perform at the Tour, if he's going to win the Tour, he's got to get his time trialing down. So already the marker has been set by Primož Roglič. Of course it has. I mean, you know, in this database, by this point, the guy's about 90 years old, or, you know, approaching my age, 40, and still puts in a 37:42 and is quickest as Krantz goes 3 seconds down in 3rd place. There's just a few guys behind me, and we'll check in on their times because I have a feeling we're not going to be 3rd for much longer, but this is looking like it could be headed for a possible top 5 by the finish line. We still have not seen Pogačar come through. Cozy is top the first time check. Let's see. Cozy is the 1 spot behind me. Tratnik is there, and there is Pogačar coming to the first time check now, and he is not in the lead either. He is 2 seconds down. Mohoric is 3rd, and then Tratnik, Roglič, and Krantz, our man, is 6th place. And looks like Krantz can just go a little bit harder in that final sector. I think we can afford to go a little deeper. In fact, probably for the second half, as you know, right now we're neutral. Of course, with the red bar, you could always get that little bit more out of it. The last 2 kilometers or so, and with 12K to go, I think we can afford to, you know, push that a little bit deeper. Heck, let's go 80 over this little climb. Now just 2 seconds down in 2nd place. Cozy, so we're ahead of Mohoric, we're ahead of Tratnik, we're ahead of Roglič. Sorry, that was the first time check. Second time check, where are we? No, that was right. Oh, there we are. Cozy is still top. Mohoric So Krantz has moved into third, but of course we are still waiting on the time of Tratnik. We're still waiting on the time of Pogacar at that second time check. I think we're starting to look pretty good. We might be able to squeeze out at 80. We are ahead of Roglic now. I'm going to push 80 for these last 4K. Let's go for it. Let's see if we can't buy that couple seconds. Pogacar is second, so Cozy is still in the lead. Mohoric just went top ahead of Roglic, and we are now just 2K from the finish line. And we are starting to attack. 87 effort now, 89 effort. There's the finish line. Slight uphill, and attacking. 2 seconds down on Mohoric. 2 seconds behind Mohoric. We were 3 before. Wow, that's all we closed. Cozy just went top. We are third. We're going to get bumped off the podium, but I do think we've got that top 5 wrapped up. There's 2 guys left that I worry. That's Tratnik, who we should be very close to same time. 1 second behind Tratnik. And then Pogacar. Pogacar is probably going to go second, it looks like. Cozy is going to win. And does. Cozy takes the win. Pogacar second. Mohoric, Tratnik, Krantz all the way up to 5th. That's a really good result for him, considering he is not a favorite here. He was not a top 10 favorite at all. So cracking the top 5 was good. Beating Roglic, even better. And literally 2 seconds, 3 seconds off a podium. So close on that part. And after that one, you've got to say that he passed the test of could eventually do well in the Tour. That's what it takes, right? Only losing 30 seconds over that long of a distance, only losing 20 seconds to Pogacar means that maybe, just maybe, you can compete with him in next year's Tour. Let's hope we still have Krantz next year. And for our final race of this episode, we're going to go to Italy with nearly 200 racers taking the start today. Piccioni on a -1 race day condition, which comes out to be neutral. His downhill's got a -1, but 79 mountain, so that's good for the climb. With his 73 time trial, though, it's not great. But at least there are 2 climbs along the way to help us out. Descending wise, not much. This is going to be a tough one. And this is the time for Piccioni to push. I'm going to actually push way harder than I would otherwise, because this is the best place for him to gain time. And as we go over the top of the big climb of the day, he's definitely at a deficit now. He's got ground to make up. And even then, he's only 35th with a minute 3 down, and quite a few guys behind me that are going to probably put in better times. Now, realistically, I can say, hey, we're going to finish in the top 25% of this field. I'd rather have him finish in the top 10% of this field. If we can get top 20, I would be thrilled with that performance today. Now, we had a decent amount of descending to go through that second sector. And where is he at now? He's actually closer. He gained 8 seconds and moved up 30 spots through there. Nice. What can we do on this flat sector, though, with that weak time trial? I think the last sector will be our best. This current sector is probably going to be our worst. So how much time do we end up losing through here? If we're still just over a minute behind, I'd be really happy. We're closer. 44 seconds down now. We are up to 5th at that time check. That's fantastic. And that's very much headed towards a top 20 on the day, if we can get through this last climb without running out of energy, that is. If we don't tank, we're going to be okay. Energy's nearly gone, but it's a downhill finish, and we're nearly over the top. And we crest, and we tuck, and now push for the finish line. So yes, we have managed to do that, and that's 9th. A minute 38 down. That is going to be a top 20. It will not be a top 10. We're already down to 10th. We're already down to 11th. So top 10 is gone. But I do think it's going to be enough for the... Well, it will be enough for the top 10. There aren't 10 riders left. That's 5th place. Cerruti is the best time right now. Who will beat it? Cataneo looks like he might. He's over the top of that final climb. Headed for the finish line. And he does go top. In fact, he passed the rider that had started ahead of him. Mesnada looks like he's headed for a top 10. And does only just. Moscan, not the same rider anymore. Quite old in this database now. 12th. Minute 31 down. Piccioni was just behind him in 16th. So we almost matched Gianni Moscan. Cataneo has held on for the win. Battistella ended up 3rd, with Cerruti taking 2nd, and we were, 17th? 18th at the finish? I think it was 17th. So we do get a top 20. That's a good result for Piccioni. And that's another one of your hopeful guys like Krantz trying to pass that test of, are you good enough in the time trial to be competitive? Well, 17th in your own nation, yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but that's okay. And he's got a lot of development still ahead of him. If we can, get him into that stage where he's top 5, top 10 within his own country, you'd start to go, hey, that's competitive. But exactly 2 minutes behind Cataneo, and 16th, hey, it's one spot better, but exactly 2 minutes down. You take that time trial and translate that to a Grand Tour, and you're not finishing in 16th at that 2 minutes down. You're finishing much lower, and that's time losses you cannot afford. So he's got some work yet. He's still very much the support climber, decent 3rd option, 4th option, but not yet a leader. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.